I'm Dan Thomas, joined in the studio today by Shaq and Hislop. So much to discuss, and here to give us their views on what they've seen unfold this weekend. Welcome in Stuart Robson, Julien Laurent, and the one, the only Uncle Jan is with us, who is pitch side as a certain Erling Haaland put on quite the show in his Premier League debut. Very much the man of the match, winning the penalty and scoring it in the first half. Sensational finish in the second to give the defending champions a win in the opening game of the season. Jan, how are you? I imagine very objective pitch side.
Well, the Norwegian family keep together, of course. I mean, very proud. I mean, going into this game, and as you see after the Community Shield, a couple of Nunez goals, there was only two stories. That was him being very bad, or he scoring a couple of goals, and he did the latter. I was on my way down to halftime for the interviews when we heard this jeer, and we thought it's a goal, but it was a penalty. And I must say, I was a bit nervous when he stepped up, but as always, he scores.
What's interesting, Julien, is that we followed his career quite closely, obviously, here on the show. We know, and this doesn't really surprise us, that you can put in these sort of performances. But we also know that English football is quite insular, and it's only really when you do it in England that it really counts. What a statement this was.
Yeah, it was massive. And I think Pep Guardiola, in the end, summed it up quite well after the game, saying last week in the Community Shield, everybody said he was a failure because he missed a couple of chances. And now people are comparing to Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo and Thierry Henry, and I think he's right. And he will miss more chances through the season. Of course, everybody does. He will score loads of goals as well because he's a very special player. But I think he was good today, just to avoid any more of the, oh, is he good enough? Does he need time to adapt? Does he need this? Does he need that? He needed a performance like today to score the goals, especially the way the second one happened. The first one is a pen, Jan just said it, but the second one, the through ball from De Bruyne, the run, the kind of runs that last weekend was not picked up by De Bruyne, for example, or Mahrez with City. This time the ball was perfect and he finished it. And I think also the way that second goal was scored will help him a lot as well for the games to come now.
Yeah.
We're obviously seeing the first goal. The second goal here, Robbo, how good is this a finish?
It's a good finish, of course it is, but the run's equally as good. And one thing I'd say about the game, I was wondering how he was going to find space because West Ham dropped really deep. There was no space for him to run in behind for most of the game. They had Declan Rice and Souček playing just in front of him, so I wasn't sure how he was going to get the ball. He had two opportunities to make runs in behind. One for the penalty, which wasn't that much space to run in behind, but he got that absolutely right. And then he was clever not to try and score himself, but take the touch away from the goalkeeper. He realised how close the goalkeeper was to him. And the second one, as soon as De Bruyne picked up the ball, everybody could see where the space was. The defender probably knew he was going to run into there, but he had so much pace. Then he ran round the ball and just passed it into the corner. And you knew he was going to finish it. So he showed in limited opportunities today what a great player he is.
I think that's Jan, I hear.
No, I'm just saying, I just agree with the boys because I think that second goal is vital. Of course, it's vital for any striker to get that first goal. If you wait for that, there's be a lot of talking around. But I think that the second goal is so important because the thing is that there will always be talk of how long will De Bruyne and the rest of the Manchester City need to adjust to Erling Haaland. How long will Erling need to adjust to the Pep way of playing? That's why that second goal is so vital for both Manchester City and Erling Haaland.
So about the goalkeeper perspectives for both goals, Shaq.
Yeah.
First one's a nightmare because you think you're going to get there, but these big giraffe legs come and take the ball away.
Before I get to that, first of all, if you're David Moyes and you see the reaction post-Community Shield, you're thinking, please, no, you all just stop. Just stop putting Erling Haaland down. The last thing we need is an angry Erling Haaland showing up. And that's exactly what you get. But then you know David Moyes, you know West Ham, who are a very good team, let's remember. Sit deep, soak pressure up, and try to deny Erling Haaland that space. And then they pass from Gundogan. And Areola, who came off the bench a few minutes before, which I don't think had anything to do with it. It's about that leggy stride. And I remember a couple of seasons ago, Stuart and I having a conversation about how quick Erling Haaland is over the ground. He is so tall, his stride is so long that he is deceptively quick.
Right.
if Areola is standing there and that pass is intended for Raheem Sterling, and you can see how quick he is, I think you hold your ground. But it's so difficult to judge Erling Haaland that you commit. And, I mean, quite clearly a penalty. There's no argument. The funny thing about that for me was, whenever there's a penalty, there's always somebody who says, no, ref, and goes to the referee. You know it's a penalty. There's always somebody who says, no, ref, he didn't touch him. Every single person just turned and started walking away. You know, it was just that obvious. And then the second came later on, when West Ham are goal down, are now trying to play a little bit higher up, and there's room in behind.
Yeah.
As good a finish as it was, the pass from De Bruyne equally so. And job done. And Man City made a very good West Ham team look very ordinary on the day.
Pep Guardiola spoke about this afterwards. Once the penalty was awarded, he was very impressed with the way that Haaland grabbed the ball. This is mine. I'm taking this penalty. Yeah,
there was no way back for him not doing that. Also, that at Manchester City, they haven't had this penalty taker. Like, there's been different doing that. So there was always him got to do that, because you want that first goal. Never underestimate that first goal in a new club, in a new season. So, and he got the penalty himself. There used to be an old rule: if you foul, you shouldn't do the penalty, and so on. Well, these rules doesn't count for these big strikers, these big goal getters.
I'm intrigued, Jules. What did the crowd make of it around you today?
Like, as in the West Ham crowd, you mean?
Yeah, just as a sense of occasion.
So the feeling I had, and I thought it was a bit similar in the Community Shield last weekend, was very much okay, we want to see Haaland play. I think even as a West Ham fan or a Liverpool fan or any opposition fans that they will face now, there's this feeling of like, okay, we want to see, now that he's here, finally, we want to see how he plays, what he does, if we can defend against him, what kind of run he's going to make, what kind of goal he's going to score. And I felt there was that today as well. There was that kind of anticipation of, like, even if he plays against you, I'm not, City fans of course want to see him do well, but even I felt opposition fans were very much like, okay, you also came today to watch West Ham and to watch your players and Jared Bowen and the new signings, blah blah blah, of course. But I think there was a feeling as well of, we want to see Erling Haaland now, a bit like you would want and go and see a Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, or this and that. Not that he's at that level yet, but certainly I had that feeling that there was a sense of anticipation and even of excitement, really, to be fair, even amongst the rest of the stadium.
That excitement, though, was somewhat muted when we saw on the big screen Jan was apparently put up there as he was broadcast with Erling's dad as he was making his way to the seat, Jan.
Yeah, it was, and it was the first time I had two father and son at the game, and he was delayed to the game. So I said to him, "So Alfie, where are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm with my family, with the Manchester City fans." "Yeah, but we're going to see each other at half time." And I said, "Where are you?" And he said, "Well, I am with the City fans." And there were like thousands of them. And somehow we managed to find him. And he came down, and of course he was proud. Is to find this balance between being an advisor, being a dad, and of course anyone can understand how nervous you are when your son is doing that penalty. But this is a good thing for them. And after the game, we spoke to Erling as well, and Erling said, "This is a great day for me and my family. This is a family-bound man, and this team Haaland is not only a cliche; it's really a thing." They were all, the whole family today, sitting, as I said, behind there. And Alfie told me when he was going up for the penalty, there was 200 Manchester City fans turned around to him and filming him with their phones as he was shooting. And it was funny, around the 80th minute, people were thinking there's only one Alfie Haaland. There's not many fathers who get that in a game.
Hey, that's all right. Jan's like his bodyguard.
Well,
Kevin Costner, Whitney Houston, there it is. It's all playing out on the sidelines.
No idea where you're going with this, Dad.
Beautiful.
No idea.
Right, let's go to Robbo to ruin the party. Robbo, you were really disappointed with the way that West Ham approached this game today.
Yeah, West Ham and David Moyes must have watched the game between Fulham and Liverpool, and how Fulham got around Liverpool and made it difficult for them. There were 62,000 people at the game, the highest crowd that West Ham have ever had for a home game. And you expected them to be in the faces of Manchester City, try and press them fairly high. play at a high tempo. And what did they do? Sit back, allowed Manchester City to play a passing game. It was almost at walking paces at times, and it was too easy for Man City to get it into wide areas and pass their way through West Ham. I thought it was a shocking performance by West Ham, and their approach I couldn't think could be any worse to try and get the 62,000 back inside the stadium. Good from Man City, of course. Great for Haaland, but really poor from West Ham.
Shall I ask Jan? I'll ask Jan.
Ask him, go on.
Is it over, Jan?
Who?
37
in
games to go.
Germany.
37 games to go. It's done, isn't it? That's it. Give City the title now.
Well, Al Shearer said it's 258 goals to go to my record. He said after he scored 2. I think the first target now for Erling Haaland could be hard enough. He has scored 2 for Manchester City, and Alfie Haaland has scored 3. So let's see if he can beat that.
Yeah, so he could be the best Haaland of it all. Jules, it does, you kind of feel, add another level of excitement to the Premier League, not necessarily the competitive level, but to have someone of that quality within it.
Yeah, completely. And I mean, again, we don't have to go back again into the Darwin Núñez, the Erling Haaland sort of competition if you want, but to see the impact that Darwin had yesterday on Liverpool at a time where Liverpool really needed it. And then the response from Erling, again, for me, they're not really in the same dimension anyway, but let's say because they're the 2 biggest signings. And to see the response today from Erling from the start, and again, we go back the penalty and the way he got it himself, and then took it and scored it, and then the second goal even more. I agree with Robo. It won't always face a team like West Ham so passive in many respects. I mean, the second goal, Rodri has the time. Rodri doesn't even scan before receiving the ball in his own half on the second goal. And then he can turn, and then he can give the ball to De Bruyne, who's on his own as well. And then, anyway, so there will be time where it's harder than that. But for Erling today, it was the perfect response to yesterday's actions, to last weekend actions, to all the noise that has been going on all this week. And again, like Pep said, it's not because he scored 2 that he's like Ronaldo or Thierry Henry just yet, but it's certainly the best start he could have had of his Premier League career, for sure.
We're gonna move. Yeah, there we go. I knew it. I knew it was coming. I knew it.
Yeah, but I would say a funny thing about pressure, because Jules is saying is, of course, when you come here, you have to prove yourself. A lot of English fans haven't seen him, but I asked him about pressure, and he said, "Well, it's 30." This is just after the game, and he said, "Well, it's 30 minutes since I scored a goal now, so they will probably tell me to score another one." So this is the 22-year-old with a great attitude. Someone calls it arrogance. I call it self-confidence.
Who's the Núñez? Who's the Haaland in the Gab and Jules podcast, Jules?
Come on. I'm surely the most proven already, the most talented of the 2.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.